everybody. Thank you so much for joining me today, and thank you for your patience in between my videos. I know it takes me forever to get to them. Um, Part of my excuse is that March was quite a doozy for me. Not only do I run summer camps, so this is my busy time of year where I'm hiring and doing marketing and all that sort of thing. I'll write the name below. It says these are STEM camps in Denver, Colorado, and we're in our 8th year, and it's just a very busy time, and it's going to get busier. So I will warn you that we may have more gaps in the recordings, but I will try my best. But then in the beginning of the month, some of you know that I had a trip to the emergency room, which was not fun, but it turned out to be a false alarm, so everything's good. And then shortly after that, I developed COVID, and you may hear me cough a little bit today. In fact, my throat's a little gravelly still from that. Anyway, I've had just quite a month, and I feel like I've heard from a lot of other people who said that they had a difficult time in the month of March. I just feel like the planetary energies have been crazy and difficult and really pushed on our bodies in ways that many of us just, buckled under. And I was one of them. So apparently so was my whole family, because we all got COVID. Yay! First timers. So that was a fun time. I wanted to say that I may be changing some things up with my channel a little bit, just because some of those healing meditations, which I love creating, and I will create more, do take quite a lot of time. And so since the demands on my time are really picking up with the summer camps, I am going to have to move to a little bit more of a live format, and in that vein, I might like to have some of my friends on in the healing community, and some other people that I've met from the YouTube community, and start to do some collaborations. So that is probably coming up. I also, you may notice that I have slightly changed my name, but I'm probably going to be changing it fully because I surf the airwaves on YouTube as Kelly Scarborough, which is my name. But when I created this channel, I created it as The Mystic Next Door. And I feel as if it's created some confusion. And what's interesting is I know so many wonderful people now on YouTube who follow the same people that I do, and I see you in the live chats, and I don't know if many people know that Kelly Scarborough is the same as The Mystic Next Door, and it might have just caused some confusion. So I'm probably going to be converting the name of this channel into Kelly Scarborough, like the other one. That way it'll make it a little bit easier on me as well. So look for that. I wanted to just sort of back up and talk a little bit about some of the things that I do. For those of you who may be meeting me for the first time, see, there we go. There's a little COVID right there. No, the COVID's gone. It's just the residual. Most of you know me as a healer, and I've been doing healing work for probably 25 years now. I've worked as a high-touch Jinshin practitioner, and that is a form of acupressure. So it's energy medicine. I've also become certified in Reiki and some other modalities that I just find are really useful for me, that work with my energy. And I would say that the form of energy healing that I do is unique to myself, and I think that's true of every healer. So just letting you know that that's what I do. I'm also a medium, and I do tarot and I do psychic work as well. So just know that. I don't really make that super apparent on this channel, but I do that work. And if you ever want to find me, you can just email me. That you'll see my email in the notes below, and reach out and we can do some work there. You may have seen me on with Kim Copeland Medium Kim. Some of you know her as Medium Kim. And we've done some work together. She's had me on her channel to do private, quick readings for people who are in the chat. That's been super fun. We also do the healing hour together along with another healer named Alice Leong. And the three of us and anybody who wants to join us come together over Zoom, and we offer healing to people. So we found that to be really effective, and it's a really nice little community. So I try to post those dates on my channel, but Kim has a broader channel, and she leads that, and so you'll see it on her community page. It's every other Wednesday of the year so far. So hopefully we'll continue that, and look for that if you know of anybody who needs healing, if you need healing yourself, or if you just want to be a part of the healing community when we do that. It's a really nice, safe space, and we enjoy doing that. If you're new to the channel, please hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell to see when I create a new video. Hopefully it'll be more frequent than it has been lately. And leave a comment below, because that also helps the channel and people can find me that way. So today I wanted to talk a little bit about seeing the signs. And I know I've had other videos about this, but it seems to me that Spirit really likes to communicate with me by showing me signs in the form of, you name it, anything from birds to numbers to messages that I receive. And I've had a couple of really interesting experiences in the last week or so, and I just feel like Spirit wants me to share them with you, and so I'm here today to do that. By the way, take a look at some of my other videos. You may have seen something about I posted a video about my angel shoes, and then you're going to hear a story similar to that today. I also have posted some stories about how my father, who's passed, has reached out to me. And so I think we all have some of these stories, but I just wanted to share mine with you today. The first is, as most of you who have followed me know, I get a lot of my messages while I'm out walking my dog, Henry. I think it's just that when we're out walking or doing something somewhat mindless, the universe knows it can reach us because we're not preoccupied with working or thinking or doing other things that we have to do. They know that we're more available. At least that's the case for me. So the first story that I want to tell you about today happened early last week. And again, it was when I was walking the dog. As I was harnessing him up, I asked the universe, source, angels, guides, past loved ones. I just sent out a little message and I said, show me a sign on my walk today. And so I'm walking along about 3 or 4 blocks away from my house, and I'm sitting there thinking how sunny it is, and my eyes were affected. I don't handle the sun very well, but I did not have my sunglasses on. In fact, I had lost my sunglasses in late January when I was in Florida. But there I was walking, and I reached a crosswalk in my city. I live in Denver, and there on top of the button where you press the crosswalk to cross the street was a pair of seemingly brand new sunglasses. Now, I'm going to put those on right now. They may not be the best sunglasses for me. They may not have been the ones that I picked, but they're really dark and they're great for people with sensitive eyes. Now, before you think that I just pick up trash on the street and that's how I acquire everything, because that's how I found the angel shoes, it's not true. I actually do buy things like everybody else, and I'm not a complete scavenger, but I hesitated, and then I picked up these glasses, and I said, okay, well, I'm going to take them home, and wash them, and then and try them on, and see if I like them, and I decided that I really do like them. Um, so that's that story. So again, I had asked for the sign. I was thinking about the sunglasses and my eyes bothering me in the sun, and then the sunglasses appeared. So I challenge each of you to do the same. Just say, show me a sign, and be specific. I didn't specifically ask for the sunglasses, but I happened to be thinking about that, and I just lost my sunglasses. Um, so say to the universe or your past loved ones or whoever, say to them, I would like to see a sign. I'd like to see a bluebird today. Or show me a red Corvette while I'm driving down the road, or anything like that. Show me a sign on a license plate. Show me a purple elephant. Anything along those lines. Because if you keep your eyes open, you may notice that they actually accommodate our requests. But sometimes we're a little bit blind to those messages. So you do have to keep your eyes open, and sometimes you have to be patient. I just happened to have gotten lucky this time where I went out for the walk and there it was. And my guides tend to be pretty quick with these things. You want $1,000,000? Ask for $1,000,000. We would all love to have $1,000,000, wouldn't we? They may not be able to accommodate you on every request, but you'd be surprised. The next story that I want to tell you about is about my deceased grandmother, who died when I was about 10 years old. Now, I didn't really have a terrific relationship with this grandmother. I always found her to be a little bit mean. She wasn't really that warm, fuzzy, grandmotherly type that you think of. So she doesn't really pop into my mind very often, to be perfectly honest. This is my dad's mother. Now, back last fall, I had a reading from a well-known reader here on YouTube, and he had suggested that a grandmother type was here with an M name, and he mentioned a rose garden. And I immediately went to a different grandmother who I knew had quite a garden and grew roses. Didn't think about this particular grandmother at all, and I just kind of dismissed the whole thing. And in fact, in that reading, this reader had said that something about baby blankets. Okay, so none of it really resonated with me, and I dismissed it. And so let this be a lesson to you that sometimes these things happen. We're not always accurate as readers, and that's okay. But sometimes it comes to you later when you're not expecting it. So, fast forward, again last week, I'm out walking. I'm listening to a podcast about a mother who had lost a child, and this was another message about hearing or seeing the signs that her child had been sending to her. And as I'm listening to her, this feeling came over me of great sadness and just a tremendous feeling. And my grandmother, this particular grandmother, whose name happened to be Margaret Rose, M name, Rose Garden, popped into my mind. And I was thinking, that's curious. I don't know why I'm feeling so emotional about this story that I'm listening to on this podcast. So as I'm walking and I'm getting closer to my home, by the time I got home, I had tears streaming down my face, which is kind of unusual for me. And I realized that my grandmother was trying to reach me with a message. So I honored that, and I sat down for a moment and I listened. And the message that I heard from her was, I have the baby boy. Well, I thought about it a little bit more. I haven't lost a baby boy, but I know that my aunts, her two daughters, who are still living, may know something about this message, and I suspected it was for one of the two aunts. She's now in her 80s, and she has 5 living kids herself, but I don't know. I kind of thought it might have been for her. It felt like it was for her. So I contacted her and I said, you're going to think I'm crazy, but we always lead off with that kind of thing, don't we? You're going to think I'm nuts, but I feel like Grandmom has reached out to me and she wants you to know that she has the baby boy. Well, my aunt said that she just began to cry because apparently she had had a couple of miscarriages when she was younger, but she knew they were both girls. But this particular baby boy, we believe, was another birth that she had. Actually, she had a stillbirth. And in those days, this is back in the 60s, the nurses whisked away the baby, and she never knew the gender of this baby. So obviously it was a very emotional time, and I think that's the emotion that I was feeling. So when I mentioned that to her about the baby boy, she said she just broke down in happy tears because she knew that that was the baby that she had lost at 9 months, and that he was with her family in heaven, or in wherever you want to, wherever we go, that's where he was, and he's taken care of. And so I just wanted to share that amazing story with you because it brought validation to my aunt that there is another side. She's a very spiritual woman, but I think it's always nice to know that our loved ones are still with us and still trying to communicate with us. And speaking of communication, my grandmother had also said, look for the feathers. So, baby boy, and look for the feathers. Well, as I was telling my aunt this story, my cousin, who lives with her, was dusting the furniture, and she was using a feather duster, and she said a big feather flew out of the duster and landed on the floor just as my aunt was reading this message from me that I sent by text to as she was reading it to my cousin. So the two of them were sitting there crying tears, happy tears, I would say, and just another validation from heaven. So once again, I just want to reiterate that the signs are all around us, and they're constantly trying to reach us. They would love to communicate with us, and we're pretty oblivious to a lot of their messages. But if we take a moment to listen and suspend disbelief for a moment, we will hear their messages. So thank you for listening to that story. I just wanted to share it with you, and I would really encourage some of you to share your stories with me because I really, really love to hear them, and I think other people like to hear them too. It's such a great validation. Now, I was called to pull an angel card for us before we sat down today, and honestly, it couldn't have been more perfect for what we were talking about today. And I'm going to put on my glasses. This angel card is the card of positive intention. Okay? I just feel like this is perfect because if we intend to see the signs, we will see the signs. And whenever we put those messages out to the universe, they do come back to us. We just have to be clear about them. And I'll read to you what this says. I think it's really great. It says, everything that happens to you and everything that comes to you in life is the result of an intention, a seed planted at some point in the past that is now coming to fruition. Be conscious of the seeds you are planting today with your thoughts, energy, and actions to ensure that your dreams and desires can become a reality tomorrow. Remember that we reap what we sow. So I think that's really perfect. And since I'm into healing, I had also pulled a chakra card, and this was the card of the crown chakra possibility, which I think also goes very well with that message. So if you intend to see a sign and ask the universe for it, they're going to send it to us. And so some of the things that we can say are, all is possible for me in this universe of infinite potential, or I release all conditioning and limits that I have placed in my path unknowingly. So I think that this is a really good one too. All is possible. So I really appreciate some of you coming by here today. If you liked what you see here, please give it a thumbs up and share it with others. And I hope to see you all really soon. Thank you.